Hello, welcome everybody. This is Charles Kim from the K Group and
Willis Phan with the K Group.
yeah, welcome. And this is part of our KGTV short video clips that we want to create, and we want to talk about real estate, advice on real estate, and this will be good for real estate buyers that are looking to buy, sellers, and also if there's real estate or people that are looking into getting into real estate, we can give you little tips and guidance on that as well. In today's segment, we're going to talk about the real estate market here in Northern Virginia specifically. And since the coronavirus hit, it's taken a drastic hit. The market has been crazy since May 15th, but before that, when March 15th came, the governor said, okay, everything stops. Everybody that were thinking of planning to buy and sell, they said, okay, we want to kind of pause for a little while. So for 2 months, we kind of didn't do anything. And then May came, everybody started calling back. And then June, July, it has been crazy. Right now it's the end of August, so things are slowing down a little bit. But the real estate market here is gone up. Home sale prices have gone up 10% since last year. And the home sales activity has gone up 16% since last year. So, a lot of that is driven by the low interest rate. And also the lack of inventory here is causing home prices to go up. And Willis, he just recently started real estate. And it's good to kind of get a perspective on both sides from a new agent and somebody, a veteran like me. So I wanted to ask you, Willis, what do you think about the whole real estate business, real estate market?
There was a lot of confusion in the beginning. Obviously, I did not know if there was going to be a market, so I thought the timing was horrible. The market competition right now is extremely high, and for a new real estate agent, that is very overwhelming to walk into. Competition on a particular property will be about 20 offers coming into a home, especially in the DC area where there is a lot more individuals leaving the city, moving into the suburban areas and trying to look for their first single family home outside of an apartment. It was daunting, but knowing the right people to get into the market during a global pandemic is absolutely necessary. And Charles, being in the business for 20 years, has really helped me and guided me along this way, especially because there's so many new variables and nuances dealing with global pandemic and with self-quarantining.
Right. So somebody who's been doing this for 20 years, even I got nervous, so I can't imagine how nervous it was for you just started. This is probably the craziest I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. But now this is different because mortgages are still hard to get. You have to have all kinds of documentation. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's driven by low interest rate and lack of inventory, and the whole coronavirus pandemic is changing people's lifestyles.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten questions from sellers asking if it is the right time to sell. However, because of the lack of inventory, if you sell your home, you're not necessarily guaranteed to get a home.
That's true, yeah.
And so with first-time home buyers, everybody, like you said, is chasing that low interest rate. It's unprecedented right now. We're seeing, I guess on average, 2.75% interest rate, and that, in my opinion, is almost free money. If you're buying a $500,000 home from a 3.5% to a 2.5% interest rate, you're going to save over $100,000 in interest over the life of the loan. And so that's a lot of incentive for people to go out and to buy a home if there's a property available on the market.
Right. That's so true, because I know there's a lot of new first-time home buyers I'm seeing, and even yesterday I got a phone call. Yeah, they just randomly call and say, hey, we want to buy a home for the first time. Mm-hmm. And they're both in the IT industry, and their first home is, their budget is $1 million for a first home.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, that's a great budget to have. And I know you're dealing with the buyer right now. Mm-hmm. First-time home buyer, and their budget is like over $1 million too, right?
The other thing I do want to add is that we're seeing a high volume of people that live in downtown, people that live in Washington, D.C., leaving the city and going into the suburban area to find more space. Right now, average rental prices in the DC area can be high 2000s, mid 3000s. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you can move into cities like Fairfax, Alexandria, Chantilly, Centerville, and buy a single family home for $400,000, $600,000 with almost the same monthly payment as you would be paying for a one-bedroom apartment in DC.
Good mortgage rates low.
Right, and we're seeing that trend, and so obviously that increases competition. There's obviously low inventory, and so that's the kind of competition that you're going to be dealing with in buying a home in the area. This is the advice that I would give to somebody who is a first-time home buyer, is to not necessarily put all your eggs in one basket. I don't know if you agree with that, But as a first-time home buyer, there's going to be a lot of learning curves, and at the same time, I personally would not want to be house poor.
Right.
A lot of the houses in this area are relatively old, and $1 million might buy you a home in a decent town like Vienna for $800,000 that may be 50 years old. And so you don't want to be house poor where you cannot put money into the home for possible renovations, repairs, because not every house is perfect. I think the best analogy to look at is that when you're buying a home built in the 90s, is that you're buying a 30-year-old home. Equate that to buying a used car. There's going to be oil changes required, change of tires required. Just like with a home, you may have to change your roof, HVAC system, water heater.
Yep.
And so you do need to have some budget behind that. So if you did have $1 million, props to you for having $1 million first off. But second off, have a little bit of room to invest back into the property, because that is going to be a return on investment.
That's a great point. When you are with your buyers, like what are some of the popular areas that they're looking at?
Definitely Vienna, Fairfax. Everybody's looking for nice walkable communities, access to really good schools. Schools absolutely drive up the market price on a property. We see schools connected with Woodson High School, McLean High School, is that the one?
McLean, Langley.
McLean, Langley.
Yeah.
Those are the properties that we're going to see where the quality of home is not 100%, but the quality of school will drive the value of that home in the long term.
I've done a lot this year. Langley High School is obviously top in this area, and then Lake Braddock High School, West Springfield High School, those have gone up significantly as well. So those are a little bit more affordable too. Like if you're in the Burke area, like you can get the same house that you can get in McLean or Langley for significantly less price. So
the other side of it is that we're seeing development with these small town centers. So Reston Town Center, the properties around that vicinity has obviously increased the market value of those homes. Second, we have Mosaic. Fairfax Circle has also recently developed, and I think in the long term we're going to see more and more of these, what would you call these areas? Suburban?
Yeah, suburban urban areas.
Suburban urban areas driving up the market value of those homes. When Mosaic was first built, the townhomes that were built in Mosaic were starting at mid-700s. And then shortly after that, 3 years after build, I think at one point they were hitting $1 million.
Oh yeah, there's $1 million townhomes in
Right.
Mosaic. Yeah.
And
There's
so-
some new ones behind built by Seacrest homes.
Right.
Yeah, those are like all $1 million.
So suburban areas is a great opportunity to invest, and it allows for those leaving the city to still have a suburban urban feel moving into those communities.
Yeah, that has been a trend that has been on the uprise for the last like 3-4 years. But I do see, because of the coronavirus, people are actually moving even further west out. Because I had a buyer, we submitted an offer in Gainesville, and they had 19 offers.
Wow.
I was like, Gainesville, who wants to go there? But
Right.
a lot of people want to go there because it's cheap and you can buy a lot for a lot less than you can buy like in Vienna.
Right.
So definitely people are moving out more west, especially people can go to school from home. They don't have to commute to work. So people are definitely moving out more west, more south, kind of spreading out to get more land and more space.
Right.
Well, I think that's enough for the market news today. And we hope that you enjoy the show, and hopefully you gain something valuable from today's conversation. And then we'll be back hopefully next week or 2 weeks to give you more information on the real estate market. And we hope that you will continue to follow us and subscribe to our channel. And please push the like button. And any last words, Willis?
No, just get ready when the pandemic ends. Who knows what the market will be?
That's true. Yeah.
But we'll have a video on that.